All right, so why don't you give us some context about who you are? You're an author. You've done a lot of video blogging. You're a wine entrepreneur, right? You have a online and real world wine business. You also have a social media consulting business.
Yep.
You invest in a lot of startups.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything?
No, you're just making me realize what I've come to realize recently, which is I'm doing too many things, right? Listen, you know, the real context of who I am is I'm an immigrant, and I came to this country when I was 3 years old with my family. My dad had a liquor store. I got involved, wanted to build my family business, didn't grow up techie. All my friends in the Valley always talk about, oh, remember the Apple IIe and this and that. I'm like, no, but I had Sega Genesis. You know, I wasn't super techie, but I had an amazing developer at WineLibrary.com. I launched that in '97. I knew that .com meant something. I launched very early for a one-store liquor store in New Jersey. In '01, I hired a full-time developer. His name was Eric Kastner. He sat right next to me, and he started teaching me. First day, I'm searching a wine on Yahoo. Go to Google. I'm like, this site's stupid. They'll never make money, right? He's like, check out who Jason Kotke is, and Anil Dash, and you know Seth Godin, and you know, and all this stuff. And he was, you know, check out Threadless. Look how they do it. And I'm like, what is this world?
Right.
So I started really. Woot.com really changed my life. It's interesting that the deal a day phenomenon is so big now. A deal a day site really changed the way I looked at the world.
Right, it's been around for a long time.
And I said, wow, the world's different. I need to get involved. They were obsessed with Zay Frank in my office. I'm like, I can do that. They laughed me out of the room. I said, that's it, I'm doing it. And that's what made me start Wine Library TV.
Right. Now you're an investor in Z Frank.
Yeah,
games? Yeah.
I'm an investor in Zay. It's full circle. And so I definitely, you know, I definitely got inspired by Zay and Rocket Boom, that whole 05, 06 world, right? And I started video blogging. It made me quote unquote internet famous. I was more bullish than the far majority on Twitter early on. That also helped me. And I kind of did what I did in the liquor store, which was that I'm obsessed with the end user. The companies I invest in, they're always telling me things like, we're gonna get written up in TechCrunch, and Fred Wilson and Chris Sacca are investing, and and we're gonna be this, that, and the other thing. And I'm always asking about the end user, like, what problem are you gonna solve?
Right.
You know,
How many of your companies are that you're invested in are New York versus Silicon Valley, and what are you seeing as the main difference?
I don't really even think. Think
about it right now, like so.
So I think about it right now. You know, I'm getting more and more involved in. You know, for a long time, everybody thought I lived in SF because that's when I would show up. Me and, you know, Kevin Rose became an early friend. We'd show up and taste wine and do this. And because when I was in New York, I was working head down. I've become more involved in the New York tech scene in the last couple of years. You know. Thinking about my most recent investments, Birchbox is New York, Milk, K-Rose, so that's SF, Yobongo, SF,
okay.
Dapley, New York. So, you know, I would say it's probably 70-30 SF to New York. But, you know, I invested in an incubator in Chicago, Sam Yagan, the guy OkCupid, you know, their accelerator, they're doing a thing. I'm going to Big Omaha this weekend. I'm obsessed with, like, you know, Formspring came out of Indianapolis, right? You know, I'm very passionate of the kid who's watching right now that's in Kansas or is in Idaho or Montana, and no dissing to that. I believe they can start it there. They're going to move to you know, Joe Stump like yelled at me because I said something about like where startups can be started. You know, and he said we didn't start in Colorado. We're an SF company, Simple Geo, a company I invested in. But you know, innovation can happen in a lot of places in today's age.